My bedroom. Yes, sir. Man, you ever had somebody tell you, either man or woman, that her past doesn't matter? Let's chop. But first, roll that intro.
Pull up with the stick, yeah. She said she wanna be up on my team, but she can't love me, yeah. Really, she don't want a man, she want a gummy bear.
Now check this out. Unless you are dealing with a woman who has truly had a renewal of mind and spirit, and you'll constantly hear me say this, because again, she needs both. You see, because the spirit is going to increase her faith, but the works deal with the mind and the body. The works deal with the flesh. The mind is the flesh. So both need to be captivated, encapsulated in everything that is of renewing and renewal coming from Yahshua, the Messiah. But if this is not your woman, then what I'm going to tell you today is most likely going to apply to your situation. Now understand, a lot of people today, a lot of women are very spiritual, but that doesn't impress me. When I meet a woman, a lot of times she seems to want to express to me how spiritual she is. But you know, demons operate in the spiritual realm, and they manifest themselves in the physical realm, but their plane of existence is in the spiritual realm. So just because you're spiritual, that's not telling me anything. Which spirit are you being given over to? That tells me more than you just simply telling me that you're a spiritual being. Erykah Badu and her witchy madness is very spiritual. So what? The place I come from, they have a lot of spirit or witch doctors. So what? But what are your works? You see, if you show me your works, I can show you who you are spiritually inclined to. You understand me? Men, if you're not talking like this, when she starts talking like that, you're gonna run into some problems, yeah. Her past does matter. You see, that is probably a phrase that a woman came up with and then fed to her son or her weak, simp-minded husband, and then he went out and perpetuated that in society, not really looking at it or thinking from it from a logical standpoint as any masculine man should do. Just like when they say you shouldn't judge me by my appearance. And to a degree, there's a nugget of truth in that chat. However, when you deliberately go dressed as something, get the reaction as what you're dressed as, knowing full well this is probably going to be the reaction you get, and then turn around and say, I don't want that reaction from you. That's very illogical. Very illogical. If you show up to my door dressed like a FedEx, Amazon, UPS, DHL worker, I'm simply going to ask you where my package at. I'm going to ask you that whether I even know I ordered something from you, because I got a large household. So if I ain't ordered it, maybe someone else did. Where my package at? I'm gonna come to you with my arms out because you came dressed like that. If you come showing up at my doorstep dressed like a detective, a policeman, you're gonna get the reaction of that. I'm not opening my door when you knock. I'm not letting you in, you don't have a search warrant. You're gonna knock on the door. I'm gonna talk to you from the other side of the door. How may I help you? I'm gonna talk to you from the gate code box. How may I help you? What do you need? Who you looking for? You can't then say, why are you acting like that? Why are you treating me so harsh? That's not a warm greeting. You ain't dressed like somebody needing to get a warm reception. There's law-abiding citizens who don't even want to see the police at their door front, bro. So if you don't want that reception and or reaction, don't put on that costume. Especially if it ain't you, because now it's definitely a costume. You know, like how you do on Halloween, you dress up as something that you're not. So if you're not truly a thought, don't walk around dressed like one. No. See, this makes perfectly good sense in the mind of a logical person. If I don't want the reaction of somebody who's a hoodlum, I'm not about to go to any fine establishment, any establishment, with my pants hanging off my hind parts, looking any kind of way, talking any kind of way. People say don't judge me, but the truth is that's not human nature, bro. They say that the Bible says don't judge me. No, the Bible says to judge, but to do so righteously. There's a lot of judgment taking place in that book. I don't know what you've been reading. A lot. You got whole cities that got judged and were found guilty and burnt up. So when they say only God can judge me, I say, do you really want that? Her past does matter, because if you come to me as a woman, or if a woman comes to you, brothers, right? and you've already worked and made it through the woes to become the best version of you in the name of Yahshua, in the name of your creator, in the image of your creator, rather, right? And now your job is to help elevate her as a man should. There's no harm in that. You're gonna need to know what she's been involved in. But in order for that to happen, you're gonna have to watch the last video. You're gonna have to stay out your feelings, because she's never gonna truly let you know what has taken place so that you can prescribe an authentic and accurate remedy for whatever she has been through. You're gonna have to hear those things, and she's never gonna open up that box unless you have provided a spot that she doesn't feel judgmental in. Now I got one of my Hebrew camp brothers. I deal with a lot of different brothers, man, of all different levels of belief and whatnot, right? But we all can agree on certain fundamentals. So this guy in particular, man, like he is a shouter on his wife. Read Malachi chapter. And I'm out slugging him, if that's what works for you, if that's what moves you, then by all means. But he was telling me just how she doesn't respond to that. I said, well, maybe you should change your methodology. Maybe you should probably learn to speak her language, which will be another video that we'll do. But you are going to have to create an environment to where she just doesn't feel judgmental. And to think about a lot of the camp brothers, they seem to make the women feel more judged. She has to know that, okay, hey man, this man was right there with me when I was doing da-da-da-da-da. Now we did all that in Babylon in separate locations, but he real like that, he raw like that. That's why I keep it raw. This ain't no Pastor Pork Chop podcast. Ain't nobody more holier than thou. I was in Babylon like y'all were. So sweetheart, talk to me. That is the only way, cause see, she'll come telling you that she didn't have a problem going to sleep, and then you'll prescribe a remedy that helps with sleep depression, when in actuality her problem is the opposite. She sleep too much. Weeks, months down the road, you run into issues because who she told you she was and where she told you she came from, she doesn't. And you're getting terrible performance out of her because maybe you have been prescribing the wrong remedy. Absolutely, bro. You see, when you go to a doctor, before they can fully assess what they need to do with and for you, they need your what? Your medical history. And let's say that she's never been to any other doctor, this is her first time. But when they give you that form, hey, do you have or do you experience, and you start checking off boxes, she has to be honest about what she's checking off. If she's bypassing and not checking the boxes that she really does qualify for, then the nurses and the doctors, with all their, collegiate wisdom, they are going to prescribe the wrong remedy. See, these doctors have the Hippocratic oath and all that, whatever the case. Now, we ain't taking no oath. We know what the words say about that. However, this oath makes her then feel safe, knowing that whatever she checks off, maybe down in her lady parts, she got a crazy discharge coming out, and they got a crazy color. Okay, in order for her to check that box off, that's embarrassing. She's gonna need to feel comfortable about that. So as men, the first thing you want to do is to create an environment where she can come and just, well, back then I let so-and-so do this to me, and I know the Bible says that, but I kind of liked it at the time, and man, I done heard some crazy things, bro. And if you create that environment for her, please understand that you need to have on your poker face, because you gonna hear some things, yeah. That's why I tell y'all, men, stop saying what your woman would never do. One, you don't ever know what she would never do, because what she told you was only what she felt comfortable telling you. Like I told my homie in the camp, I say, bro, no. That's still a woman. And since he opened up the gamut, I told him, I said, man, some of these women in these camps, bro, have an issue. A lot of them are burning with desire and don't know how to express it without being or feeling like they're about to be scooped and judgmentalized. And therefore, they can't vocally open and confess that. Therefore, we cannot address it. Therefore, we can't even pray for the deliverance of that ailment. When they ask me to pray for them, I got sisters that ask me to pray for them, and I say, but what do you need me to pray for? I don't just issue up random generic prayers. What do you need me to pray for you with or on? That woman then has to be comfortable and to tell me I'm struggling with bang, 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 bang. Now, some women do, but I've had a few who didn't. Maybe she's struggling with the fact that she want to get hit off by you and your homie with the fringes at the same time. How she gonna tell you that, Mr. Read Malachi chapter 6, chapter 2? How she gonna tell you that, bruh? And she really back there struggling. She really need deliverance. She doesn't want to do it, but the urges are there. But she can't even get prayer from the community, prayer from her husband, prayer from even her sisters, because maybe she feels like she's gonna be judged. So understand, as men, starting with you really want to create an environment that's conducive for her to be forthcoming and completely transparent. Once you know where she came from, then you'll understand why she works the way she does. Now again, at the end of the day, the goal is the renewal of the mind and spirit. And in Mashiach, there's neither Jew nor Gentile. And what I get from that is, it doesn't matter where you come from. The Jews grew up with this mind frame. The Gentiles grew up with the wild mind frame. But when you get reborn of both with the renewed mind and spirit in Mashiach, none of it matters where you come from. But again, if your woman ain't that right now, let's just see that she only got the renewal of the spirit, but she still got the same wild Gentile mind, then you need to apply this today. And her past until then still does matter. The number of men she's been with definitely matters. Every man she's been with have left something behind, not just DNA. Because I'll be honest with you, if you think these women out here strapping up with every guy they with, stop. It's 2023, bro. I'm surprised they still making condoms. Let's keep it funky. They ain't strapping up like that. Come on, cuz. Even that sister you quoting in the inbox right now, if you was to pull up, and y'all get the yard, she not about to stop you when that thing throbbing if you was doing what you was supposed to do beforehand to ask you that you bring a Jimmy cap. It's like, well, I don't even know what that is. Come on, bro. Just keep it in the thou wow. So they got DNA left in them from various men. There's even a scientific study that states that when a woman has a man's child for the first time, especially if it's a boy, they say that part of his DNA actually travels to the nape of her spine and embeds itself there. It's either the nape of the spine or somewhere in the brain. The DNA is like permanently in there, bro. Probably more the reason why as lawgivers, as priests, we were not told to go deal with any woman other than a virgin. Because see, the time you spend contesting with your woman is time away from dealing and doing the Father's work. Facts. Another thing you men need to understand is that a woman has very little say-so of who she becomes today. The devil tricks her into thinking that she has liberation and true empowerment, but I'll tell you that every man she's dealt with, starting from her daddy or lack thereof, has shifted her view on life. So by the time she's 25, 26, or even younger, or even older, the way she receives and perceives love, information, correction is really out of her control, bruh. Every man that she's dealt with has done something to alter the way that she sees things, for good or bad. So by the time you get to her, you may have a chimera of an individual. She may present herself as whole, and sometimes even holy, but in truth, she's just filled with holes. Blanket pocketed spots of men who have come and taken and did not replenish, and then what they left behind was something they should have took with them in the first place. And then here you are, thinking that just from the flesh, you can love her back to pieces. I'm going to tell you something, cuz ain't enough love in the world. That woman needs to be reborn. And you can lead her to the water, but only she can drink. The only exception to that rule is that she has to go back to the people who caused the hurt to begin with. If you didn't cause the hurt, then you can't fix it. If that boyfriend, when she was back in high school, just did her something crazy, something terrible, right? She ain't got over that. She's found a way to live passively with it. She's found a way to distract herself conveniently, comfortably, but she ain't got over that. If she was rejected, she ain't got over that. She needs to go back to where it all started. If she has issues with her mother, she needs to go back to that. Wherever that monster was created, you need to go back and trace the origins to kill it off. Just like when you watch these movies with Jason and Freddy Krueger, but Freddy Krueger, they always take it back to, what was it, the insane asylum or something like that with Jason or whomever. You go back to Camp Crystal Lake where it all started. It's the only way you can defeat the monster. you cannot do it. And see, this is what these good guys and these simps believe. Oh, I can just love you back to pieces. If you did not create it, bro, if you did not take that from her, you can't give it to her. Unless she's been reborn anew in the mind and the spirit. And I've already told you that most of the women today seem to have the same mind. Her past does matter. Just like I said, when you get her to open up, bro, put your raincoat on. I done heard some things, man. I done heard stuff that, women done lost their virginity to their dads and their granddads. Their first sexual experience. I done had a woman tell me that her dad took her virginity and then went around town like this was his wife. This is the role she played. I mean, bro, this is the land of whoredoms, Babylon, bro. You gonna hear some things. And I had one little mama tell me she done been hit. Her and her friend took down a whole football team. I mean, yeah, swallowed them up. Every hole, swallowed them up. And then walked away to tell the tale, man. Sheesh. Don't you even flinch. When she tell you that she swallowed it all, never mind, she said she didn't like the way it tasted. It went down. She swallowed it all. So she did it. But don't you even flinch. You better not even bat an eye. You keep it straight like the psychiatrist. You nod your head, okay, all right, little mama. You had a DP session, okay. You watched your best friend get smothered out, and then you line it up, and then you put your tongue there, like, okay. Nah, you in your mind, you like, oh man, this chick is nasty. Think what you need to think, but you keep your face straight. You got one time to get that box open, brothers. And if you fumble it, it'll probably never return. But in order for us, again, to be the true physicians that we are created to be, the restorers, I'm not going to say rehab, because when patients get healed in rehab, they typically leave. So I wouldn't advise you to make your home a rehabilitating space. However, if this woman has a few fault points or something that she may need a little help with, that's okay. But in order for that to be properly addressed, like I said, you're going to have to know her past, dog. So when they tell you her past don't matter, man, you tell them your opinion don't matter. What you saying don't matter. Both men and women, if that's a man talking, ugh. You know how we feel about Sims over here. And then sometimes you just have to conveniently remind them that, again, when you go to a job, they want employment history, bank loan, they want payment history, homes, they want rental history. History is in the past. Everything in your life and her life is predicated off the past. Also, too, this woman may see you as the better catch. So though her past is full of bologna and noodles, when she gets to you, she may make it Alfredo, fettuccine, and filet mignon. Don't be no sucker. Anyhow, brothers, we can go a little deeper, but I think we hit it. Hey, y'all be safe. Stay blessed. Love y'all.
Pull up with the stick, yeah. She said she wanna be up on my team, but she can't love me, yeah. Really, she don't want a man, she want a gummy bear.